We're back. It's a new year, 2025, and guess what? Our Melbourne Pro has signalled his year ahead with a stellar performance at Flemington on New Year's Day. So he's here to talk about Geelong, but tell us what happened yesterday at Flemington, Aaron.
It was a good day. We bet into 7 races, got 6 winners. I think the average price is $6. The only one I didn't find was the bloody evens pop. That Shin just too good. Went to the front, no speed, 12.6, 12.6 sectionals, got away with it. But no, it was just a great day. Good to kick the new year off with a bang.
Indeed. Well, Flemington's always a good place. Well, it can be a fertile place to play in that sense. We're going to Geelong, Aaron. Of course, Geelong had their standalones at the start of the year, and I recall this meeting 12 months ago. We've got a hot day forecast on Saturday. Is there any chance they'll move the races forward?
I'd be shocked if they don't start at like 11 o'clock. Yeah, I think it's still about a 12:15 kickoff time, but I think they have to start at 11 o'clock because the heat's actually sort of the later part of the day. So yeah, I'd be keeping your eye on that.
Yep. And what are we expecting from Geelong on Saturday?
I think it'll be reasonably fair. Going back to that meeting last year, it did play very on speed early and then sort of evened up a little bit. So maybe that's something to look for in the early part of the card. They're definitely the better races to bet into the first half of the card. But look for it to maybe even up. The wind shouldn't be too much of a factor. A little bit of a tailwind as you go down the back straight, headwind in the home straight. I don't think it's really going to affect the racing.
I'm going to look at a couple of races from the Goldie, which is their lead-up meeting to the Magic Millions. Gord, anything for you at Geelong? Is it a meeting that you can get your teeth into?
Not stamping any Monties, but as always, there is bets. By the way, Happy New Year, Randers.
Correct.
And, Aaron's pulled off the Jeff Pendlebury effect. Most important betting day of the year.
Unfortunately, poor Jeff was fielding on race 1 at Canterbury yesterday, where it was evens to 2s on, and Nash just threw it over the line.
Oh God, wasn't it a poor win for evens into 150? Jesus.
And 20 metres past the post, it immediately fallen back to third.
I actually text somebody. Did Nash pick that up and carry it over the line? Jesus.
He sure did. He sure did. Anyway, we're talking Geelong, so let's get on to the first leg of the quaddie, race 7, which is a fillies and mares 70, so that's pretty light on as far as standard is concerned. Jazz Affair, the South Australian, is $3.90. I got you $5. Here Comes the Star 6, down low $7.50. Burlington Gate $8.50 are the runners in single figures, and I've got Cat Noir down in 2 to perhaps hold them out. Scripter and Tropicone, who is running tomorrow by the looks of it. So there's a bit of speed that may come out of this race. How do they form up, Aaron?
My speed map's just completely carked it, so we'll just go with yours. My speed maps go on my sheets anyway. This is, I have 3 confidence ratings on the sheets. I have low, medium, and high. I might have to dust off the very low stamp for this race. Jazz Affair, I obviously don't bet in South Australia, so it's difficult for me to price this horse because I don't have context of the form. I have to go off the eye and what the data suggests. The first up run screamed, follow me over further, second up, and then it won well. The sectionals were good. Nothing else really made ground. But if you do it to the eye, wow, it looks a low bunch. If someone just brought up the replay at the 300 and said, guess what trip this is over, there's no way you'd guess 1200. They looked a very slow, ordinary bunch, but it is third up. It gets, likes firm ground. It's at a trip that it hasn't lost at yet. The map is a little bit of a concern for it. Doesn't have much.
First thing I see is barrier 8, wide barrier win.
Yeah.
And then going inside, that's alarm bells for me.
It is, but I actually went back to, have you ever drawn in a fast run race? And it did, and it actually won. It was able to settle 4th. So I found that interesting. So maybe it's not as much of a penalty, but I just can't be with it because I don't understand the context of the form, which makes me very cautious about the rest of the race. You just sort of leave those ones alone there. I know some people will, if they're in that situation, they just go market plus 10%, but I don't feel comfortable doing that. I got you as reasonable last start. Still the Sun was a bit of the horse to follow out of that race, which went past in the last little bit, and it was probably stiff not to win yesterday. Only thing was, it looked like it was trucking into the race, and then just peaked on the run a little bit. And I'm just thinking, are you maybe come to the end of your prep? I think coming back
It's a
to
long prep,
14's
isn't it?
very long prep. I think coming back to 14 is the right play if it's still going, but I'd have question marks whether it's just had enough of the prep. Here comes a star who's been consistent in form ones that I don't really like, but he's coming back in grade. It's in the race. Burlington Gate, I can't believe it's $8, but it was a horse I went and had a good look at before I saw the market. I think it might be able to do something fresh. Jump outs are okay. It's got ability, but $8 seems skinny. You'd need a pretty good push from the mounting yard, I think, to back it. But Autumn Sun, when they get to 4, yeah, that's sort of their go time. I think the only one that you could back at current price, and I think it'll actually get out marginally at this stage, would be They Call Me Bruce. I think distance stats 3, it's got no starts, but I think it actually had a win at the track over like the 1340 or something like that. And it did things wrong in the run, ran it out fine. The run 2 starts back behind Apache Song. It was a car crash on the bend. Probably stiff not to beat Apache Song. That horse has come out and won the last race last week, I think it was. And you wanted to see one more to say, okay, because it had a bit of a lean patch there. You wanted to see one more to say it's come back. And the run last start was actually very good. It missed a start. It had to go back to near last the rails. It didn't really open up for it till the last little bit. And the last 50 minutes was really good. That horse has come out and won. Oh, sorry. That horse is a lightly raced, hasn't lost yet, my temptation. So I think that's reasonable form and probably the only one that you can play at this stage.
I forgot to mention, of course, the other bit of speed. Well, in fact, there is no speed because Cat R is a stayer, presuming.
Yeah.
Scripter is running around at Yarra Valley today. So 6 and
no
7,
speed.
6 and 7 look to come out. Gord, can you make sense of this race?
Well, the horse you go looking for is number 9, Burlington Gate, and all you're looking for is to see a really good trial, and you just go awesome bet at $8.50. The thing is, the trial wasn't there.
Yeah.
They were just sort of pass marks, and there was margins there. Although the first one, I kind of liked it through the line past the post, so maybe that's enough. I love the fact that I like these sort of these horses that get to sort of a bit of a distance last preparation in far stronger grade and then resume over 1,400 metres. It's a pattern that can work pretty well. Got lines through Lady in Pink there, which is definitely strong enough to win this race, and it's lightly raced, 10 starts for 2 wins. Saying that, if I had seen, let's say they were rock star trials, I'd mark it favourite.
You couldn't see much though, Gore, because those 3 were so far
that
ahead.
Camera angle was stupid in the last one, but the one before that, we actually got a look past the post.
Yeah.
Whoever that cameraman is, fire him or retrain him. I mean, seriously, does he know what we're looking for in a trial?
Maybe he's getting bigger wages from a trainer than the whoever he was putatively working for.
Yeah, so Burlington Gate is the one you go looking for, but I'm not going to lose on Jazafed just because I think that the local form is rubbish. Which is why I'm going for a first upper that ran in some strong Metropolitan Melbourne races last prep, although hasn't trialled sensationally. And I think Murray Bridge stuff is good enough. And Mark, I mean, we've got a lovely little line there through Easy Camp Easy. We can line up that reasonably well. Now, this horse might have a fair bit of ability. Interesting that only that one run last preparation, then put out for another 13. I think it's a horse they know has a lot of ability, and it's got a couple of issues. Well, the 2 runs this preparation is enough evidence to suggest that it's just come back really well and it's found the right race. So, look, I'm interested in 9 and 4.
Fair enough. That is, of course, basically a benchmark 66 with the allowance for the mares, so that we are dealing with a low grade. They want to give 300,000 away for this next race, the 1,700, and Holy Man's off 35 days is $3.10. Dashing is $4.40, as is Riot and Rose. They're both 9 days since Boxing Day. And Mathletic is on the 7-day backup. He's $5.50. So Dashing surely gets his chance to lead here. Mathletic's got the glue-on shoes. Could he hold him out, Aaron?
Nah, Dashing will go to the front. Think it's new. It's only right on the day, and he's riding pretty aggressive. I mean, he's always aggressive. He's riding particularly aggressive lately. But I don't know. This is bizarre. Like Wright and Rose was lame. He barely completed the course last start, and here it is on the quick backup. I don't really know what to do with it. If if Wright and Rose was fine and it's sweet to go, which it must be if it's starting, but I can't get involved with it off that last start. You'd think that the tactics on Dashing wouldn't be to bowl along because it will set it up for Wright and Rose. I've seen that in the past when they race against each other. I don't think they want to go quick, and there's nothing that's going to be able to contest it and take it on. So the speed map suggests above average. I don't think they'll go quick on Dashing. I think they'd like to go average and then
Well,
just sort of ramp it up.
he hasn't even been able to lead this preparation.
Well, yeah, I mean that's right, and it's yeah, it was a bit of a strange race there last prep, but I mean it has raced up on speed in some of the races that have gone reasonable tempos, but there's just nothing here to contest it. I mean, like Mathletic, the one you referenced, got the glue on shoes first time, and I mean I referenced it going into last start. I didn't mind the jump outs, and it was 30s and an 84, and here it is $5 in a $300,000 bloody.
Well, it's a 97, isn't
I
it?
don't
But
know what you call this,
yeah.
but yeah, it's just and it had every possible chance I started. It got a PR, didn't really finish off, didn't get beaten far, but it's just not a race. Thought Holy Man's was the one to go to. It won this race last year off a very similar sort of profile. It had sort of a few runs, had a freshen up, had a jump out going in, gets the exact same setup here. Safi Osborne, maybe not as good as I thought she might have been early. Yeah, she'll go for a gap. She's got good balance. I'm not sure she gets that much out of a horse though. I think it's the one you go looking for. It comes out of the proper stuff, not beaten far. I think they're actually pretty good runs there when it went up to Sydney, as much as it was long odds and got beat a few lengths. If Dashing doesn't go quick and try and set it up for Wright and Rose, and it becomes sort of a 600-metre sprint, Holy Man's clearly got the best 600-metre sprint in the race and won this race last year off a sort of a similar tempo. I think it's the one to beat. Dashing gets its chance by virtue of just finding the front with it can completely control. Matron Bullwinkle was somewhat of an interesting runner. It was supposed to be in yesterday at Flemington. They scratched it. It's third up. It's got some ability. It's got no weight, but
I feel like we've been talking about it for years.
Oh, I know, it's only had 21 starts. It'd want to find behind lead though, and I'm not convinced it does. So that's not ideal. So yeah, one on top. I mean, this is not a great card to start off the year, is it? These couple of legs.
What do you mean? You had the great card to start off the year. The feature card
I mean,
at
in terms of the preview, these last few are a bit rubbish.
Proper races. Gord, do you want to sort out these numbers?
Couldn't care less if it's a Dubbo Maiden or the Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, but you still got to find the winner.
There's a winner of the race, and that's all I care about. It was funny when we had that meeting with Sportsbet, Mark, and everybody was talking about their famous horse, and I mentioned the last winner right back, which was in a Dubbo Maiden. That's what I'm thinking of. So, sometimes nonnies find the right race, and that's number one, Holy Man's. The map looks perfect. I clearly think it's the best horse. There's question marks about the others in the market. Now, a horse that hasn't won for a long time, but its last win was course and distance, wasn't it? Against Bermudez, which, it doesn't the small field. Isn't small field just perfect for this horse?
Yeah. Don't doubt Dory ran third in that race at 70, so it was a bit concerning.
Yeah, look, I can't really butter up because, it's not my style of horse, but Christ, it just has found exactly the right race. So, number one, Holy Man's, what I do, I don't know, but it's the only horse I'm interested in.
And how are you handling this rider, Gord, on anything that you may fancy that she's riding?
Well, I don't like her new jockey manager. He's not finding the right rides for her, but other than that, she goes all right. Yeah.
He's a terrible bloke as well. Jacko put a post up, and fuck, he's been bang on. Safi Osborne's jumped off a couple of horses. Craig Williams gone on, and they've all won next start, like Mirabelle Rose, and there's a couple
but
yesterday.
It's double whammy that. because it's not
Yeah.
just he's a better rider, it's also stable intent, isn't it? So,
Oh,
Yeah,
look,
yeah.
it's a funny time of year where you have all these, you have a whole tribe of Northern Hemisphere riders just having a bit of a summer break out here. And,
Yeah.
they're just pushing them
Correct.
around. But, of course, the riding ranks are so thin that they find themselves on chances. And how do you handle that?
Yeah. But the only other thing I'd mention with Holy Man's is its form reads better on the wet. I don't think it's a wet tracker. I just think it's handled it better than the others. I've got no concerns with it on a firm deck, which is going to be.
All right. The mare's race is, well, it's competitive. She's bulletproof, $4. Inhibitions, $5. Ferrari, 6. Bizzo at 6.50. Cleo Cat at 9. It seems like there's been some specking for Romantic Choice at $13. Now we've got some, well, certainly some runners with pace here. She Dances is underneath Romantic Choice, who may go to the lead. Girl, Cleo Cat, and out wide Bure Bay and Ferrari have to work out what to do. This starts in the back straight. How far have they got till they turn, Aaron?
Not that long, really. Barriers are more crucial for the 1100, obviously, but they haven't got that long. Yeah, the map is interesting on this race because She Dances, I mean, it settled terribly last start. It was coming out at 12, but I liked She's Bulletproof and I wanted to find it. And then when I was doing the map, there's every chance that She Dances crosses it and is a massive roadblock for it. If it's got any luck in the run, I think it's probably the one to beat, but the map is just not ideal. The form lines that's coming through are really good. Neonce, Neonce is a huge win there last start because nothing else did that on the day. The wind was up. There was no leaders at one. It's a proper horse, and the win at Moonee Valley was just ridiculous. There was a massive quicken up from the 8 to the 4, and it just left him standing. It was the only one that did a above average for class last 400. Inhibitions, it's just an ultra consistent horse. It did have a nice setup there last start, the way that the race was run. The leaders all sort of cut at
Oh,
each other
God,
a bit.
spotted that nice setup.
Yeah, I can't believe the price late. You wouldn't take that price over again, and only just got in with the absolute perfect setup. But it also handled the track. It's really interesting how you take runners. Just in the last race, I think we were talking about, I was at Dashing where I think some course and distance stats you really need to mark up, and others are sort of neutral. You need to give a big tick when they race at the Heath, when they're proven at the Heath. But if they failed at the Heath, I wouldn't be so hard against that run. I just sort of try and look past it. And Inhibitions had runs at the Valley, so it was always going to handle the track. But I don't think this race sets up quite as well for it. Ferrari, like you think it's a gelding. What's it doing here? It's just had so many runs this prep. It's been honest this last couple, but I'd prefer it off a longer freshen up and preferably spell. And it's there's speed in this race. Their only option is to go forward, and it might just be paddling. Sort of getting too late in the prep now for me. Late. Bezo was shot out of a cannon last start late. I think he's got some chance. He can be positive from 5 and find a nice spot. Cleo Cat, I give it absolutely none to. Uh, it was a track gallop tempo last start, and it just held on. I don't think the form from the previous couples are much good. And yeah, the one that you mentioned that's coming for sport, Romantic Choice. I had that overs last start. I think it started close to like 30s on Betfair, or maybe it was 20s, but it was a super run. A lot went wrong early, and then during the run, that's not a spot that you want to be on the Heath track. I think it could potentially even find the front, given I'm not confident She Dances will find the front, but I think it's got enough speed to hold out. She's bulletproof, and I think it's the one to play if you're betting early. But also might just want to see how the track plays on the day. If it plays like last year, where it's massive on pace early and then sort of evens up to the point where it's actually slightly it flips around and you'd rather be running on, maybe we'll get a better price late.
All right, there's not a lot of clarity there, but of course,
No.
come
It's a
come
terrible meeting to kick you off.
5 minutes before the race, Melbourne Pro subscribers will have a clearer idea. Obviously, you've had a good chance to work on the pattern, and that's what the subscribers get: early markets, late markets, and mounting yard 5 minutes before each race. Gord, have you got clarity here?
No, I don't have clarity, but I've got bets.
Mm.
Um, there was three horses I went looking for. That was She Dances, She's Bulletproof, and Bizot or Bizot, if we want to get a little bit je ne sais quoi. Um, Look, it's just interesting with She Dances. Now, if it could get back to some of its old stuff, it could shit this in.
Yeah.
Obviously, with the 55 weeks spell and then two sort of like not sensational runs, there's some evidence there that it's not with us.
Mm.
Saying that, we're getting in the 20s to find out. And if it can get back to it, and I'll touch on the reasons it might next, then it's a great value bet. One of those ones do nothing or could win at very long odds. I don't mind playing into, I don't like roughies, but I don't mind playing into roughies like that. My thing is that all its good run, this is a 1,200 meter horse, and its two runs this preparation have both been over 11. So I'm giving it a tick to the going to the 12, and I'm also giving it a tick. Just watch. You don't even need to watch the whole race last start, guys. Just watch the start. It pings the lids, and normally horses that are completely gone don't ping the lids.
Well, they
Um,
don't show this. It did actually show speed first up in. Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, she just tagged it from the wide draw mark. It actually
Mm.
jumped maybe best,
Mm.
and she tagged it, and it was three wide tail, out the back. So look, I think you can forgive that run. So if up and distance work and map positive on this occasion, there's enough little ticks there to be taken long odds about the horse.
I think
Um,
I think the other argument, like the counter argument there, Gord, is if they were run over 1,200, the last two, it would have got beat even further. But if
Definitely,
but
definitely, yeah, yeah,
if
yeah.
it yeah, gets anywhere back to near what it was doing, yeah, you're right. It'll
I'm saying
kill.
there's a good chance the horse is gone. But if it's not, you know,
You get
Mm.
26 bucks.
yeah, yeah.
The other one I would mention is which I forgot to there was Brazen Lady. I don't think it was that disappointing last start in a pretty strong race. I mean, the Open paraded very plain yesterday. I think it SP $2.10. It was not a parade that you wanted to see from a short price favourite. But if you can look past that, let's say failure and go back to what it was doing prior to that, it seems a big price for one flop this prep, Brazen Lady.
All right,
Yeah,
Gord.
yeah.
What are
Well,
the others you looked at?
inhibitions. I'm leaving
Cash in
the
the
money
bank.
in the bank, cash
Right.
in the bank. Like found the perfect race for it. I mean, obviously a few others did as well, but fantastic result there. And I wasn't super impressed with the victory, and it was just such an easy bet
She
last
never
start, and
is.
it's
She's
not on
never
this occasion.
impressive, but
So
No,
she does find the right races.
don't get me wrong, I wouldn't be shocked. But Williams off for Mott on, and Bunchy finish, a couple of
Mott's
unlucky runners
flying good.
behind them. So. Um, yeah, 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 but
Not Willow.
uh, he's not Willow. Yeah, I think Willow's
Have a
flying it.
newcomer around.
But
Jeez, you've
Willow's flying at the
had a
moment. Oh,
couple of
by the
snarky
way,
comments on Willow in the past.
Willow comes to Sydney like he's not even in the top 10, but he's
Oh,
in Melbourne.
stop
He's
it.
up against the B graders, so he's got to be. Obviously, she's bulletproof is a good chance, and just talking a bizzo, guys. I think the only bit you need to watch in that run last start was maybe just the last 100 meters. It just had this beautiful, stylish action, um, and I didn't mind the run first up. I'm forgiving the second up because it was over 14. I don't think the horse gets 14. So staying at the 12 here, 4 week freshen up off really stylish last 100 meters, I thought was enough to have something on number 13, Bizot, as well.
Okay, that's the mares. That's the penultimate. Let's get to the nightcap, which is a 3-year-old race over 1100. And lightly raced horses here. Sweethearted $4.20. Miss Altair at $6. Hustle and Heels is a firmer at $6. Manolo Bling $6.50. Dancia at $7.50. And then you go wide. The map looks to have a bit of toe, particularly out wide. Miss Altair and Hustle in Heels. Aaron
Mm.
referenced that the 1100 is get on your bike, starting territory. Band of Brothers has speed to hold the inside. Manolo Bling and I'm Knuff have some speed. So what are you expecting, Aaron?
Basically, as you called it out, Miss Altair leads, Hustling Hills follows it across, Band Brothers holds up from the inside. Manolo Bling first up at 11 is interesting. I would go first up over 1,000 if I was them, but it's got speed to sort of hold up from the inside gates. Yeah, little bits, but that's probably the pertinent part of the speed. Felt like trying to separate some of my favourite kids here in this race. We've had so many good results on virtually every run in this race. Like, this will be by far and away the best form race going out of the meeting on the day. This race, I think there's a few horses here that have got pretty high ceilings that, yeah, we're yet to see just how good they are on the track. Sweethearted, it's just been enormous in its first two starts. It's had excuses. That last start win, the favourite rated like it was end of prep and it ran like it, so you can ignore its run in the analysis, but it just killed them. It went past them like they were all nailed to the floor, and not many of them actually did that on the day, coming from sort of wide and back. The only little knock for it, though, is there was a complete inversion of the field in that race, and it's 12 back to 11, and it's going to have to settle back. That's the knock, but
And it won at home.
and it won at home, yeah. But I think it's the best horse in the race, but I won't lose on it. But I don't like the setup as much as I
You're
did for it
imagining
last time.
a bit of a pushback on this horse, given its setup is a touch strange.
Yeah, and the one that I think they'll come for, just based off last start, this is one that I really liked the jump outs of, was Hustle in Heels, which this was really strange for me on debut. It was 550, and I thought it might get back out late, and the favourite was evens and was rock solid all through betting. And it started $4. And I thought, you'd cost 8 grand. You're trained by Julie Sandu. You got mod on. Thought you might have got out, but no. Apparently, a few others watched the jump outs as well. It's been supported. I'd say it's very firm as well. It's just such a professional type. It was a fantastic win last start. And if anything, as much as he sat up on it, just thought it sort of peaked a little bit late and thought maybe coming back to 11 might be suitable for you. I think as much as it draws wide and it's not a great starting point to draw wide, the fact that Miss Altair's drawn right inside it and it's got a bunny to just follow across, he can sit OSL, and yeah, it's probably going to be my best result in the race. Manolo Bling, I think they should have resumed this over 1,000. I think it might be a little bit stretched at 11 first up, but it and Miss Altair, I think as much as they've only had 5 starts between them, I think we sort of know where around their ceiling is, whereas those two at the top of the market, I think they're going on to proper stuff. So I'd risk them. And another one I wouldn't lose on is this the next year for Mick Price. That was ultra impressive on debut, and very interesting that they sent it out for a spell immediately, and it was first up over 1240, which is also interesting because usually when they do that, he brings them back over 14. So it's all a little bit strange, but it's jumped out sensationally. It's got a postage stamp on its back, and I think drawing a middle gate, it might be able to come across and find a reasonable spot when they're cutting at each other early a little bit, but they'll sort themselves out reasonably, and it should map a reasonable spot. I mean, the chances don't end there that a lot of these at 40s and 50s on their day could rock up and win this race, but I think you go looking for the really lightly raced ones in the 410 and 15 here.
All right. Well, Gord, you may have a different view on the race. There's a lot of, recent sort of form that may be a touch hollow. What are you saying?
I'm saying exactly that. I am agreeing with Aaron. This is a race that you watch 4 or 5 times, guys. This is going to be the form race on the program. I think some of these are going on to some good stuff. So, man, all these lightly raced winners who have a bit of style and have done some nice sectional stuff. It's rather exciting. But I think there is 2 horses off my eye and with a little bit of evidence that are the best horses in the race. And it is number 1, Band of Brothers, and number 15, Danksia. I am with you, Mark. I just think that the up and running stuff just might be a little bit hollow. And then I look at a horse like Band of Brothers, who, was up against Growing Empire last start, for Christ's sake. And then I'm just, yet again, another long shot. I'm looking at the jump outs, particularly one jump out, absolutely sensational jump out. So I'm getting a horse that is proven against like proper horses, far more than the others. Sensational jump out, $16 to find out. That just seems a super easy bet to me. Saying that, I don't have it on top because my feel in my eye says that this is the real deal, this one down the bottom. I'm actually quite happy yeah, I thought it was weird too, Aaron, about the 1250 and then resuming over 11. That just seems weird,
Mm.
doesn't it? And then,
Yeah.
but then you watch the jump out and you're like, this
Went
has
like a
got some
rocket.
speed, man.
Yeah.
So it's been gelded as well, which means it's kind of a new horse, So
Yeah.
just when you watch it, just watch the last jump out, guys. It's pretty much all you need to watch. That first up, its first ever career start was sensational. The jump out was all style. Off the jump out, I think 11 is perfect for this horse. I love the map. It could be the best horse, only carrying 51 kgs, $7.50 to find out. That seems super easy to me. I'd expect this one to be very solid in the betting. So I'm interested in 15 and 1.
Okay, that's the quaddie done and dusted there for Cranbourne, where if you want Aaron's assessments, early markets, late markets, and mounting yard, you need to be a Melbourne Pro subscriber, and you get the kind of
Plenty of
information
bonus
that
info.
that's right, that the subscribers enjoyed yesterday from Flemington. So click the eye in the top right-hand corner. It'll take you to the subscription page, and you can avail yourself of the information in the room. So, Gord, we're going to Gold Coast is, of course, as I say, a lead-up meeting to the big day next Saturday. That's the 11th, of course. There is a little bit of rain around. They've been watering the track. So I guess we'll have a fair idea of what we're looking at by the time we get to race 8, which is the first race that you want to look at.
Yeah, well, we don't know track conditions at the moment, so we play a straight bat with that at the moment, and we make adjustments on Saturday morning. So
Yep.
yeah.
Okay, so race 8 is a 1100 metre race, and Golden Boom's the favourite at $4. Derry Grove $5.50, Bezique $6, Prince of Boom $6.50, Casablanca $7, and Affirma. Zoo Sensation is nearest at $10, and typically with a Queensland sprint race, there are a few to go forward. The Novelist, Golden Boom, Prince of Booms, there's a couple of booms there, and Payline out wide, Drums of War and Bezique, all looking for positions. Baroque Road in the middle, Zoo Sensation and King Kappa certainly holds his spot. So it looks a keen race. You with the speed or off the speed here, Gord?
I'm with off the speed. Some interesting horses. I think the local stuff is kind of tied together and not super strong. So I went looking outside of that. Obviously Bezique was a great result last start. But Jesus, that was a weak race, and I know it won by a length and a half or something like that. But I mean, I was expecting it to be even more dominant than that. Saying that, it was a nice last 50 metres, but yet again, I'm going to leave the money in the bank on that one and go for a horse that I think just has a little bit more solid form. And that's why, I mean, great to have Aaron on the show, because the one I got on top is number 7, Zoo Sensation, Aaron. So do you want to
Should have
tell us
beaten
about it?
Inhibitions last start. Was given none.
Yeah, absolutely none.
Airborne. The
Yeah.
form lines are sensational. They've all been franked, like pretty much all the way through. Glad you mentioned this race, because I'm going to have a good look at it now.
Yeah, it's a really interesting horse, because I think both of us are. Well, I've always had an opinion of this horse, and it just looks to have come back absolutely sensationally. Double figure odds to find out, with linked form that mightn't be strong outside of it. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a super open race, but I think it's a super easy bet, kind of like the map set up for it. And obviously, it's price orientated. I think it's the value in the race. So yeah, I'm going to be backing number 7, Zoo Sensation. Unluckily, we won't get any yard, eh? Won't get any late information about the Queensland sun making its coat glow when it's up there, eh?
Well, speaking of the yard, one thing that GK did drum into me is that Golan runners improve second up. So, yeah, Bezique likely improves off, Go back through the Golan runners over the last few months. Second up is go time for them.
Look, I had a great result on its last start. It's one of my horses. Just, super easy bet last start, not super easy bet this start. So
it's a tricky race.
All right, that's does make sense. Your selection there, Gord. Zoo Sensation, 12 back to 11 off a freshen up, and a race that does look keen. The ninth is the 3-year-old race over 1100, and Lady of Camelot turns up here, $2.80. Private Harry is as long as $6. This is the Sunlight Plate, sorry. Arabian Summer, $7. Vestas at $7.50. And pick your speedrunner. There's 25 litres. With good old Bold Bastille, perhaps the fastest, but you've got Zealously down in 3, Spirewire in 6. Gerringong would want to try and lead because, anyway, it's Gaybot, so that's drawn 8. And don't forget the horses that most of them emergencies out wide because this is the slot race, isn't it? Is this the
Yep, slot race.
Yeah. So, what a beauty, Gord. Take us away.
Well, you get everything other than the barrier. Number 6, Lady of Camelot is a dead set, living, breathing moral, except it's out of barrier 1, which means I'm a little bit concerned about where it gets on the map. This is a fresh, dynamic sprinter who yet again trolled absolutely sensationally behind Bonita Queen. Like, there was a margin to the third horse. It wasn't trying at all, just sitting in behind. And then when he just finally got outside Bonita Queen, extended absolutely beautiful. I've always thought this horse is sensational fresh. And then I kind of get a little bit more concerned later on in the preparation. So I get everything other than well, I could get the right map. That's the thing, is there is a percentage chance I do get the right map, but there's also a chance I'm in Shitsville, back there on the fence. It's clearly on top. I'm going to back it. I'm going to back late. I wouldn't be taking the best available right now, which is $2.80. The other horse of interest is number 12, Gerringong. I know it's only coming off Canterbury, but I've had my eye on this horse for a while and think it's got super ability. So there we go, gay. And but normally this is orgy time, isn't it, Mark? But the orgy doesn't happen anymore because there's a good second hand there. So,
well, also they're actually not away. They're Gay's on the Gold Coast, so she's on hand.
That means the stables are spotless.
Yeah. Talk to us about Private Harry, Gord.
I mean, coming off a lot. Well, I mean, we've got a line through Unleashing now, so
it's legless. Private Harry's legless.
Yeah. Did you see what? Like, it hit a flat spot, no early pace last start, and I thought Unleashing's run was nearly as good as Private Harry's last start. So I'll have to say no there. You needed to be far more dominant in that Rosehill race last start to be a chance here. And we're getting 4th start in the preparation, Doyle. So.
Okay. Looks a fascinating race with Lady of Camelot finding her way into that race.
Guys, just back Lady of Camelot. It's got the class to take a gap. I'm pretty sure.
And the rider.
The job done. So. Yeah.
All right. So that's look at a couple of the features at the Gold Coast.
I'll be looking at Arabian Summer there.
Arabian Summer, yeah. Of course I had a look at it, but coming out of some.
I'm just looking at this meeting for the first time. People will pick up. I haven't been much chop on this show. I'm sleep deprived. I've had so many fucking meetings to get through. But that race looks like one you want to price up. That's a proper race, that.
Well, so it should be. It's it's hand-picked.
All you out there, you should price it up. Just put a price next to Lady of Camelot, and if you can get better, back it. And if not, don't bet in the race. So you only need to price one horse.
What a beauty. Anyway, that is the preview of obviously the quaddy leagues at Cranbourne and the 2 races that Gord picked out for the Gold Coast. Gord, myself and Glenn will be back, 4 members, for a preview of Randwick tomorrow. And of course, we've returned from our freshen up. The rant will resume on Monday as well. Thanks for watching, and we hope you have a good weekend. Good luck, Gord. Good luck, Aaron.
Good luck, guys.
Good luck, everyone.
See ya.